Hello, everyone. My name is Angela H. Brown. I am the owner of Dserv Professional Hair Care Products. Dserv is now moving towards great and wonderful things. Of course, we stop 100% of shedding when the same day. But I want to tell you a little bit about me before we get caught up in Dserv. I actually was quite shy, born in Memphis, Tennessee, and my maiden name is Angela Yvette Hughes. And my father, Mr. Chester Lee Hughes, and my mother, Margaret Ann Kane. And I have another mother, which is Gloria G. Irving. And she and my father married, and it was a phenomenal experience to meet someone who actually does not see herself as a stepmother. She saw herself really just as a mother. So I had the pleasure of having two moms. And I started out really shy and not even knowing my shadow. And I remember my mother and father, they divorced, and it was left just me and my sister Yolanda. Yolanda is about 2.5 years older than me. And then, so it was me and Yolanda and my dad and my mom. I just don't remember a lot in the marriage. So I just can't tell that side. They have their sides, but I can't tell you anything. I just know that the marriage dissolved itself when I was just a little bitty girl. And, um, but what happened was my father, we lived in, I remember, Barron Courts Apartments. And we didn't know that we was poor because my dad just treated us like we were little, like we were his princesses. So we lived in apartments, and later on we moved on a street called Abra, and it was in Memphis, Tennessee. So, back in the day, you didn't go far. You just went around the corner or down the street. And that's what we did. That ended up being like a duplex. So when we moved, my father, he taught us how to be young ladies, not the curtsies and all of that, but to yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all those things. So one day he met this wonderful, she was paper thin woman. And I always thought she had beautiful hair because she had a lot of body going through her hair. And she just looked rather young. And, but she was rather motherly. She had this hand. And I think I was missing that. My real mother, which is the reason why I am the way I am, she was a workaholic. She worked all the time. And she was good at what she did. She worked for the McDonald's Corporation, and she was always like the top um, manager in the Memphis area. You could not beat Margaret Ann Kane for working the way that she did, and her maiden name was Kane. So, however, we didn't get to be with her a lot because of working. That did bother me as a little girl. And I thought my mom really didn't love me. I just kind of felt like she was a good person. She was funny. We looked just alike. If you're looking at me, you're looking at her, and vice versa. And she was big on holidays. Mama just always wanted to overgive. She was an overkill giver. If we wanted the world, here you go in a box. That's the way she did. She always gave. And my father, he gave, but he gave different. He made sure we had the necessities and some of the things that we want, but there was always going to be shoes on our feet, clothes on our back. We was going to be in church every Sunday, every Wednesday night. So help me, Jesus. And I thank him for that today, because I love the Lord with everything I have, every morsel in my body. I just thank God for being that spirit. I love it. And so thank you, Daddy, for that. And so, however, being a shy little girl, I remember growing up shy, but I remember loving to do hair. My daddy married Mama Gloria. I remember they broke up, and then the teacher said Angela's not doing right in class. I was 5 years old, and she said the reason why I married your father is because of you. So later on, as I grew up, teenager, we had very strict parents. I wasn't allowed to really like boys. I could like them, but I better like them in my dreams. And my father was very nervous about us meeting any type of male figure. And later on, they had a little girl together, and her name is Adrian. She is in the beauty industry too. And so it was four girls. So having four girls, strict father, and we wasn't a very wealthy family. Of course, we didn't know that because Mama Gloria could make something out of nothing and make us feel that we had it going on. My dad was hardworking. When we moved into a house of Waco, 3114 Waco in Memphis, Tennessee, behind Cherokee Elementary School. So check it out. That's where I was. That was our first house. And so when we moved there, my father just poured into us. We had strict values, but at the same time, we got a lot of whoopings and stuff like that. But all of the girls, we were encouraged through punishment, whoopings, or just verbally to do and excel in great things. My sister Yolanda had a baby early. My beautiful niece Tasha was born. And Tasha is an adult now, of course, but Yolanda got pregnant at the age of 15. So after that, Daddy watched everybody's little hoo-haws after that. So nobody could really get pregnant after Yolanda got pregnant. And maybe we still scared because I have a beautiful stepson, but I've never had a physical child. But it's not his fault. That's just jokes. And Adrian still doesn't have any kids. Nikki ended up having one, but he did not have a host of grandkids. He is remarried now, and his third wife now, they got a bunch of them, But she has three girls, and then now he's full of grandchildren now, and he good with that. But growing up in that household, it was strict values, and which was good. This is why I'm here today. So, however, I remember graduating from high school, and but before I graduated, Mama Glory gave me the money, and she invested in my first little kid when I was in 10th grade. I took cosmetology, and it was $200 for the kid. She saved up her money, got me the kid. I thought I was rich. I had all of this stuff. I was like, oh my God. Thank you, Mama. Oh my God. It meant a lot to me. I want to do hair, and I love styling hair, and you have just blessed me. And I never looked back. I took that kid and I worked that kid. I worked everything in that box. I opened up every little bitty thing, and I began to work. When I graduated from high school, I started at my first salon called Fashion Goes to Your Hair. And Fashion Goes to Your Head, rather. So if Fashion Goes to Your Head, my first boss was Gregory Thibodeau. He actually let me come in the salon when I was 15, just as a receptionist and shampooing a little bit. And I had to finish some hours after school. And I remember getting into trouble, and someone told that I was doing hair illegally, and they snitched on me. And so the late Miss Ross called, my instructor called and said, oh, may I speak to Angela? And I said, this is she. You'd like to make an appointment? She said, yeah, as soon as you get to school, we're going to talk about this. And after that, she was so cool about it. She didn't report me. But what she did was she taught me so many things, but she made me really work and do. When I got it in class, I had to do a lot of heads, jerry curls and everything, pressing curls. She put me to work. She punished me good. So it worked out. I got my hours. When I graduated, Fashion Goes to Your Head was the first salon I worked at. I worked there for about 3.5 years. And then I went to La Vogue, which I got stuck at La Vogue at 18 years. and LaVogue was the manager and owner, Adrian Williams Roddy. We started out great times. We had great times together. And while I was there, I began to think of other things. I wasn't comfortable just working at LaVogue. We went to shows, had a great time. Um, I look at LaVogue and those people and my former employees as a stepping stone to where I am. I had a big, huge clientele. I was making bucks. I bought my first house, my first home when I was about 21 years old. Had two duplex and an apartment prior before then. I bought my first mink coat when I was 25. I thought I had it going on, and that wasn't enough for me. I had the fancy cars, the Lexus, Saab, Cadillac Escalades, and stuff like that. Your girl was doing it, but broke is a joke. Okay, no money in the bank. I mean, a little money, but not the big money, the investment money. So I started looking at things a little bit more serious. And what I did was I ended up feeling empty one day. I said, I'm doing all this hair. I'm so tired. I barely have enough time to travel. So, what in the world can I be doing different? And I remember Viola Johnson. She was my divorce attorney because I ended up getting married young around, I was like 20, 21 years old. I got married and we stayed together 2.5 years, but he was in the military and he would go back and forth, and then we divorced, and then we remarried because I just felt like I was young. I was like, did I make a mistake? Because I felt like I just did everything so fast. So we remarried, and that's how I wrote the book. It's More Better the second time around. So you'll hear about that, and so we divorced again. We did not make it. We still to this day we're cool with each other, but we just went through a whole lot of ego chasing and just young. I just say we're just young. We're just so young. We wasn't ready, and we wasn't the right couple. God did not orchestrate that marriage. He did not put us together, and He is so happy where He's at. So moving forward, and I am too. So moving forward, I remember telling my attorney, Viola Johnson. She was my divorce attorney, but she was also a client. And then I told her, I said, I feel just a little empty inside. I need something going on. I want to write a book. She said, you should. I said, where would I start? How would I begin? I mean, I just know I want to write it. And then so she said, a legal pad, start writing your thoughts down, and you got to go with the first chapter. You need to write down some stuff. And so I did. I wrote my first book, It's More Better the second time around. I remember writing that book, and I remember rewriting it several times because when I was in 12th grade, I was abused by a guy, my boyfriend in high school, and he abused me all the time. I was not living with my father. I moved with my sister Yolanda and her husband. She married early, not my niece's father, but someone else. He was a little bit older than her. He took her up under her wings or whatever, and his wings. And so I had a lot of freedom. I thought it was grown. I left a strict father and ran into an abusive boyfriend because my father was controlling, but this guy was crazy. Is a difference. So, however, this guy named Chris beat me down whenever he felt like it. And I was a virgin, and I had decided that I'm going to try to hang out with this situation because I don't want to be, easy. And I just like, this is my first, and try to stick it out. But I couldn't. I moved on. And I realized that love does not wear a glove. Okay. So, dude, Chris, if you want some of this today, you're going to get boxed, baby, because mama has been delivered. I know who I am now. So, but however, I just went on, and I had to forgive the guy. I wrote the book, It's More Better the second time around. I remember my attorney coming in, and she brought in this legal pad, and she was like, here you go. Write your first story. And I was like, oh my God. So I like to be accountable with things. So I knew if she bought me the legal pad, I've got to show her that I was serious because I'm not a joke. I don't play. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And so I wrote the first book. It's more better the second time around. And I remember having all these people that came to my home. We had the book signing there. I remember having the singer Don Williams, a gospel singer, the Williams brothers. I think his name was Don, because uh, his fiance at the time, she was managing me, and that didn't go well at all, you know. But she was just a sweet person. I was like, I really like this lady, but you're so fire. So, and I think I didn't know business, and I was very impatient with progress. But you can't keep getting my coins now, and I don't see nothing. So I think at the time she was promoting him, and things crossed. But when I say 100%, this I love this. Like, this lady was, she's so cool and just so sweet, Christian. Like, she probably going to heaven. So, but however, I wrote another book. I started getting people constantly asking me about hair tips. So, how to get the healthy back in your hair came out, and I just started writing my heart out about that and giving clients a sense of smell, tips on hair, and all of that. And I'm dating, but I'm recognizing I'm feeling real empty in the love pool, you know, because I have all these talents, but I'm around a lot of people that just, I don't know, they don't really deserve me. So they might have been funny or something, but baby, you just not the right guy. So and I had a strong personality. I was a cursor. And so if you wasn't doing something right, if you don't get your bald head, black blankety blank out of my face. And I think I got that from my aunts and my some of them. And my mom, it was a series of cursing you out if you wasn't hitting on nothing, or we just like, what? You know, I had some cousins and we just had them potty mouths, and we just told you what we felt, and we took names later. Okay. I hope I didn't hurt you too bad. But that was my insecurity, because those guys I had no business with. And that was me not wanting to be alone, but it was the most loneliest time of my life. The Love Jones pool was just horrible. And I remember writing that book, but I met this beautiful man, and the timing was off. You know, he was going through a divorce, um, and his marriage was falling apart, and so we end up just really just being friends, and a lot of people don't believe that, because you see two attractive looking people and you just assume it's some hot stuff going on, but it wasn't like that. It was two people that have been hurt so bad in relationship and couldn't figure it out. Not blaming anybody, but just we're not understanding what we're doing wrong or whatever. So we were able to talk, you know, and just get things out. And of course, he ended up taking care of his business, because I said, baby, I'm not built that way. I don't share or whatever. You got to handle your business. And I wanted to really spend some time with God, and to let him know that, first of all, my father didn't raise me that way. And I repented, and he did. We were just like, it was just the wrong timing. And so I remember we broke up for a whole day. And so, so but I was just never comfortable. I like to live in my comfort zone. I don't have time for that. So he took care of his business. I gave him, look, go do you, go take care of your stuff. And he did. He has a beautiful son. Um, and I couldn't help but fall in love with him, because he was always with us. And I'm like, do you have a mother? Oh my God, you are never with her. So I fell in love with him. He was just, you know, it was just what it was. Love, love, love. Love, love. Love, love. You know, and I'm saying this so passionately, because he is now he's my son, and it's a lot of love. And his beautiful mother shares him with me, and I thank her for that. And his father, you know, we ended up getting married, and we endured a lot of hard times financially. He lost his job in law enforcement, and I was booming doing hair, making money. That paper was coming. You know, it was really prosperous, but it was also a time where a married woman wanted her husband to be able to take care of business, help pay bills. Can you help me? Can you buy a piece of chicken? So but however, he had his money, the servants paid, what he had gotten back. And he told me hard times will come, so I don't want you to pay no bills. So he took care of me from the start. I mean, he invested in me and from the beginning, and then he made sure I didn't spend any of my money because he said it's gonna come, and I didn't believe him. But when it came, that was a time we banded together, me and him, with God. We had some horrible times where it wasn't banding together as much as it was boxing a little bit. He was stressed out and I was stressed out. And but Lord and behold, he got so many jobs, like little odds and ends. He was never comfortable. And that's how he is. I mean, he's a business entrepreneur now. And of course, any stitch of clothes or shoes or jewelry you see me with or whatever, if you see me on the next move, that man invested in me. He told me that was the guy he was, that he was going to, he believes in taking care of his woman and being there for her. And he has done that over and beyond. We ended up entering, all three of us, we got married in Memphis in this Christian environment where we had to learn so much about each other. And when I say our marriage today is so strong because of the band that we wrapped together, all three of us, my husband and my beautiful son. And then I remember, when we're going through hard times, we spend a lot of times eating our stress away. And my husband, he was looking good and fine. And my son, he was a little bit chunky. And so, because I was feeding him but however, I ended up losing weight. Some years passed and I left La Vogue and I got my own salon suite. I was like, yay, mommy got her own salon suite. And I remember my suite, I had all these mirrors. And one day I walked past the mirror. I'm like, girl, you fat. You are big. You a big chick. And so I was gaining weight. And then I remember one day telling my husband, he was running a bath. He was taking a bath and I was in the bathroom with him. I said, my client such and such really have gained weight. He said, well, you about 10 pounds from looking like her. And I remember getting so angry at him, but he was telling the truth. So the next day I got up, did not look back. I lost 65 pounds and just said, hey, we're going to keep this weight off. And, every now and then I would gain 15 or 20 more, but I would just lose it back down. So I was able to keep the weight off. I was borderline diabetic. I remember the doctor telling me, get that smile off your face. I need you to lose me. He said 15 pounds yesterday. He said, I'm going to be your daddy right now. Lose the weight. My husband said, don't look at him. Don't look at me. Look at him. Lose that weight. So I lost the weight. And then all of a sudden, I could see my JJ. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I ain't seen you in years. How y'all doing? I kept you clean. But I remember it was like, oh, my God. I can't believe I lost all this weight. And when you have seen stuff on your body, because, fat hiding it, it just felt good, and then I felt healthier. Then I started teaching people. Then I did a class at the Whole Foods. And before I did that, I wrote a book, Loving the Foods I Used to Hate, Living a Diabetic and Stress-Free Life. I sold some books. None of my books really just took off crazy because I didn't know what I was doing. But I just felt good writing those stories. And then up to date, all of them are still relevant about abuse, weight loss, healthy hair, and all of that. So these are books that are timeless, so we're remarketing everything. They have wonderful stories. I can tell a story real good. That's the truth. So I remember writing that book, selling that book, people chiming in, calling and saying how they're losing weight. Oh my God. And felt pretty good about that. Cooking at the Whole Foods and doing diabetic classes. We had standing room only. But unfortunately, I mentioned God in the book and they did not let me sell my book in there. Plus, they were saying that they didn't believe the picture. They was being very petty about me doing my book, but it was because I believe in Jesus. I'm sorry, baby. He brought me here. So if you don't want my book in there because it's talk about God, that's on you. But that wasn't what I was told in the in the management or in the corporate area. That's what I was told by an employee. That's why my book did not make it. But however, I sold it out the trunk at the Whole Foods, outside. I say, everybody, let's go to the trunk, and Angela's still gonna get them coins. So let's do that. So I sold my book, and after that, I still kind of felt some type of way, like I still need to grow. I like to grow, and I started a catering company. Kroger's would they would sponsor me every year at the Southern Women's Show. I would cook on stage as a celebrity chef. So I started cooking, standing room only again. Oh my God. So, and then all of a sudden I was working on this pillow back in the day for 18 years. I had a business partner, got rid of the business partner. It was called Therapeutic Desires. The pillow heats, vibrates, and massages. And went to China and all these places trying to get this pillow out. I was so disappointed because $80,000 later, this pillow is still not out, still not on the market. I don't know what I'm doing. And a company had taken it and got rid of the business partner, had to regroup. And Mama Gloria, she's in Texas living. Her and my father divorced. And she told me, Missy Ann, she called me Missy Ann. My real mom calls me B-Angie-B. And so Mama Gloria said, Missy Ann, you need to write about, you need to come up with something in the beauty industry. So that's how the hair care line came out. I started coming out with that. And I remember praying and God said, faith without works. So I started writing things down. I put it on David Tatira, the weddings. I said, I'm already married, so I know I'll focus on writing. But every now and then when I get bored, I'll look up at the television. So I remember he was telling the bride, I was writing down names, Angela Hair Care, Angela Professional Hair Care, the Browns, this and stuff that I wasn't receiving. And so I look up and David told the bride, he said, turn around. He said, close your eyes. And then he said, turn around. And so when he told her to turn around and she was like, oh, so she turned around and he showed her the wedding of a lifetime. And she said, I don't deserve this. He took her by face. Look, you do deserve this. And a good gospel song went through my soul. And I teared up and I went in there and ran and told my husband, I said, Poppy, I have my name, Dserv. And I said, everyone deserves a second chance at healthy hair. And he said with a little yarn, he was sleeping, you can't put all that on the box. I love the name. Just say, you deserve healthy hair. And that's pretty much how I was born. And then Dserv was spelled Deserve. And then my graphic guy, he said, let's lose the E's because you are a server. So let's do D''Serv. Leave that E off because you deserve. And I said, I don't know how I like this. It looked like something missing. Well, the E's were missing. But I loved it. And then I fell in love with it. And then he finished it. Dserv. And I had people, what is that spell? What is that pronounced? But now it works. And so Dserv was born. Then I worked with a company called Communities Unlimited. Vanisha Mitchell was my to-go-to person with that. And we formed the company together, business plan, strategic planning and marketing and all everything that come together. I remember I wanted 300,000 and then they said no. I said, well, 35,000. They said no. And then when I came to the table, they said, this is what we're going to give you. And I read it. I said, y'all are joking. I know Jesus fed 5,000 people with about 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, but baby, I'm not Jesus. What can I do with this? And they gave me $15,000. I was like, I have about 6 products to roll out. Really? And so I remember making my first product was my elixir oil. And I was making that product. I had a chemist that helped me out, an old client, and I was trying to help her out. I mean, she was helping me out, but she said, if it's your product, you need to actually make your product yourself. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So she said, you need to come up with all your ingredients. I was like, yeah, that's true. Okay. So I remember going to a class, and I teach a class called How to Build Wealth Behind the Chair. I went in there and I started teaching a class, but I noticed it was one person that was not trying to attend my class. I was like, who is he? Like, maybe he's part owner or something. Or he thinks he's too good to be over here with the rest of the employees at the salon. So I'm teaching how to build wealth behind the chair. But when I say this guy, he walked up, to me, and I spoke to him or whatever. And he said, I heard that you said you have your own hair care line. He said, so you came up with all your ingredients and everything. I said, well, I think I just take some off this person bottle and that person bottle, and then stuff that I like. I'm a mixer. I love to mix. He told me, he said, you know what? When you take a product, it need to be all your ingredients. Okay? He said, so find your ingredients. Don't come up with someone else's ingredients. They're going to sue you. I was like, ooh, okay. So I hired the chemist, came up with my stuff, and I began every day mixing, selling it. And in my clientele, and I remember my customer said, you need to go to the next level. And then that happened, and I got with Communities Unlimited. We came up with these products. I had traveled out of town, meeting manufacturers and things like that. So it all came together. I remember the closing table. I got my check for $15,000, and I was kind of disappointed in me up to date because I had such a sour attitude about it. I knew I had to make it work, but I should have been more grateful, but I wasn't. So God, I repent of that. But I should have been more grateful, and I learned from that. And I think that's why he gave me such a slow beginning. I had to learn so much. So after that, I remember my husband having to sign, once again, here come Poppy. And so Poppy, by now, in case you don't know, he was working a job. He had about 12 jobs, but he ended up landing a wonderful job, making over $70,000-$80,000 a year. And he was awesome. There were times that when the business failed in the salon, the beauty industry, there were times my husband would have to buy my products. And that was kind of embarrassing because for a girl that's making over $1,500 to over $2,000 or almost $3,000 a week, to sometimes bringing in $800 a week, it was painful at the time. So that's why I started cooking and chefing and selling books and stuff like that, because I was getting my dough back up and reinventing the wheel a little bit. So, however, those things happened, and I was so happy when I got my first bottles of my product, and that's how Dserv began. So, the story goes on. We're in 2 stores now. We've been in 3 stores before that store closed. We're in 2 stores. We sell online at DServHealthyHair.com. We're on Instagram at DSERV Healthy Hair, and you can get products that way. I'm a distributor for Dserv, so you can get it online. If you're in the Memphis area, Nashville area, or Atlanta area, whatever, you can get Dserv. Dserv is moving, shaking. We're now with new bottles, new marketing materials, everything. We have so many people that are loving our product. We came out with this product here called Wetless. So now we have shampoo capes. My client Paul was like, Angela, I'm tired of getting wet. You need to come up with something. And at first we were going to partner, but Paul wasn't a good businesswoman, so we parted ways. But now Dserv Wetless is out, and it's a water repellent cape that keeps you dry. And then we added a little flap at the neck area where you can line, the hair. So this is an add-on to our 4 products. And now we have other sizes, so we're getting other sizes. We having other products that are coming out. We restore hair. We stop 180 to 100% of shedding the same day. We help you with your edges. We help you grow your beards. We help you double and triple your hair. So you see all this. Dserv gives you body, moisture. It helps you with your hair, your journey. We have people after cancer with alopecia, thyroids. We've had people with high blood pressure. We've had people with stress in their hair after wigs, weaves, and all of that. So Dserv is not going anywhere anytime soon. My name is Angela H. Brown. I am so glad that I was able to tell you about this little girl.